Assalamu alaikum. Ciao, ni hao, konnichiwa. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you today? It's Ken at 10. Welcome if you haven't been before. We're Ken at 10. Why? Because my name's Ken. It's 10. We're James Alexander Estate Agents based in Southwest London, SW16, Norbury to be precise, which is a very important area that you should know if you're looking to invest or buy in Southwest London. We're Zone 3. We're great value, full of great people, and a great estate agency. So if you're thinking of buying or investing, buy to let, then we're still here and have been right the way through lockdown and right the way through the other side, and hopefully to inform, amuse, entertain, and whatever else really. Hope you're doing well today. Busy day for us today in terms of maintenance and repairs. I don't know why, it's just one of those days where lots of bits and pieces have come up and our contractors are literally overrun with work, which is good. I'm glad really. It's nice to see they're busy. Keeping them busy is part of what we do, of course. I see in the headlines today that the stamp duty has been clarified by HMRC for those buying investment buildings where a commercial property is part of the building. There was some confusion for some time now over whether there was an extra 3% premium if you're buying a shop with flats above, and the flats above being residential therefore should be subject to the extra 3% tax. But HMRC have now confirmed that is not the case. And in fact, if you're buying a building with commercial below, then you don't have to pay the extra 3%. Very good news for investors, that. So pleased to see that clarified for once in a positive sense towards investors. Goodness me, who knew HMRC could do something that was good news for investors? Long time since we've seen that. But there we are. So apart from that, in terms of the market generally, a little bit quieter on the phones as one might expect, given that it's December. Pushing a lot of sales through. That seems to be our main thing at the moment, is making sure that our clients are ahead of the queue when it comes to solicitors' attention, because quite often if you don't push, then your clients will go to the back of the queue, and we're very much on the solicitors' cases saying, have you issued the draft documentation, wakey, do you know our clients have instructed you, etc. And we found that this can be a bit of frustration. Obviously with the volume of sales going through at the moment, there have been winners and losers, and it's one of those things. Aloha, the property jungle. How you doing, guys? And it can be a real frustration. You know, we recently had a case where several people wanted the same property. Some people took it graciously. One person took to giving us a bad review on Google. What can you do? You know, there's going to be bitterness when you get losers. Unfortunately, we don't work for buyers. We want to be nice to them, but we do work for the sellers, and we have to guide them through the maze of who's the likely best buyer to go ahead. And in this case, it obviously wasn't this person. So there we are. But yeah, in terms of getting the sales through, that's the critical bit right now, making sure that those sales go through. We're still taking on new instructions. We've got a few great value investments coming up as well. And it's right across the board, everything from retirement flats at over $500,000 through to very small flats from 200K. So we've got the whole spectrum of the market locally from end to end, whether you're a buy-to-let investor or whether you're selling indeed and buying something bigger or smaller. And if you are, and you'd like to talk about your plans for the future, we love talking about your plans for the future. One of the great privileges of my job is going out to see people and hearing about the next phase of their life. Sometimes it's sad, sometimes it's really happy, and sometimes somewhere in between, but always a pleasure to be there and really at such a critical point in people's lives. It's nice to be involved with that. And, you know, we don't take it lightly. You know, we know that this is a really big thing for people. And we hope that we can add value and make the process much simpler. And one of the great pleasures for me is when people say, thank you for making it simpler for us. Thank you for making our lives a little bit easier. And one of the ways we do that is by negotiating not only the best price on the one that we're selling for the client, but also negotiating on the one that they're buying. We do offer this service if you're buying a property elsewhere and you want us to handle the comparables, negotiation and tying up the deal for you, and we charge a fee for that, and that fee is normally 1% plus VAT with a minimum fee of $4,000 plus VAT. If you're selling through us, it's something we do for you for free and are happy to do so. A lot of people avail themselves of this service. You don't have to, and certainly some people feel that they're very competent negotiators, and that may be so, but if you're not used to property, then there are certain nuances that make it slightly different, and we can help you with those, because with 30 years experience, we have a lot of discussions over the years, and we know what buttons to push to make sure you understand what you're buying, the circumstances of your sellers, and what's the best possible price that you can expect to achieve on that property. And happy to do that for you. So yeah, doing that a lot at the moment as well. And hopefully lots of our vendors will meet that deadline. It remains to be seen, doesn't it, whether that deadline will hold firm. We'll see. It might well be that the Chancellor realises the massive wall of business that's come the country's way through this whole stamp duty deadline. It really has been a great success. But I do fear that after that, it will become very quiet for builders, developers, removal companies, estate agents, solicitors, mortgage brokers, banks, building societies. You know, there are lots of people that are involved in the chain that might not necessarily be obvious as well. The ancillary services, you know, when people move home, they tend to have their gardens done. They tend to have the windows refitted. They tend to extend. You know, all these things are on the back of house moves. So it really does stimulate the market. Now on to lettings. Our tenants have been really, really good. And I've been thinking about this. And, you know, initially, many of you will know that when COVID first hit, everyone was furloughed. There was talk of a mortgage holiday for the landlords. And just to clarify, if you don't know already, and many of you will, anyone taking that holiday will find that they've got to pay that money back. It is just a delay in a future payment, which you will then pay interest on. And we've had this discussion a lot with our tenants, some of whom have said, well, you know, your landlord can get a holiday on their mortgage. It's not exactly a holiday, it's a loan, isn't it, that you're paying back with interest later. You know, if you then put it the other way around and said to the tenant, well, you know, you want to pay your rent later with interest? Of course you don't. And of course, naturally, there are circumstances with COVID where people are struggling, and we have to respect that, and we have to be patient. By the same token, if you're furloughed and you're getting 80% of your salary, you're not commuting, you're not buying your lunches daily, then one would expect that rent would be a priority for you. And certainly our tenants are making it that priority, and most of our tenants are paying, and there's not as big an issue as we expected at the moment. Obviously, that might change with the level of redundancies, Arcadia and the likes, and all the shops shutting down, which is a real sad thing to see. And that's just one of the symptoms of the pandemic, isn't it? But it seems there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Really, really pleased to see the vaccines being rolled out so early. And for all you naysayers out there, really, this can save your life. Probably won't save your life, but long COVID, you know, if you're not sure about it, I always think, you know, look at the facts. Long COVID is a really nasty disease. This is a really nasty disease. And, you know, if you get the chance to get a vaccination, in my view, you should grab it with both hands. I'll certainly be at the front of the queue when the time comes. Actually, my family will come first, but I'll certainly be there and wanting a dose of that vaccination, and I suggest you should too. Fake news is such a thing, isn't it? People really think that they're getting injected with all sorts of things for fun. You know, the fact is, you know, people are worried that this has happened so quickly. It's happened so quickly because people are dying and things have had to be done. So for my money, you know, if you get the chance, the opportunity to have that vaccine, you should grab it. And it's starting to happen now. And, you know, we said when it first started, there will be a light at the tunnel. We don't know when. And it's been very dark times. And it's going to be a tough Christmas. No doubt it's going to be a tough Christmas. The property market aside, the market's been very, very tough. And it's been tough for people both psychologically, socially, and everything else. Really miss people. You probably do too, in the way we're used to seeing them. I miss our social things. You know, I was saying this week that for the first time next week, we're practicing sax for the first time. We can go and practice with a band, which is great news. Really miss that. Safe sax. So apart from that, hope you have a great day. We'll be back tomorrow with another Ken at 10, and keep your family and yourself safe and well. Until then, take care.